The entire second-year class was practically vibrating with excitement. Today was the long-awaited school trip to Kisaragi Hot Springs, a place famous for its healing waters, stunning mountain views and, well, the occasional rival girl meltdown. As students piled onto the bus, the air filled with laughter, chatter, and the sound of selfie snapping. Haruto, with his signature blonde hair, nearly face-planted just trying to get on. Yukina, her white hair looking almost ethereal, caught his sleeve with a soft sigh. Haruto, maybe you should let me walk behind you. He just smiled sheepishly. Smart idea. I've been known to fall backwards sometimes. Meanwhile, at the very back of the bus, a different kind of energy was brewing. Akari, her black hair framing intense red eyes, sat clutching a sparkling notebook. Emblazoned on the cover in big bold letters was Operation Steamy Love Confession. It was decorated with heart stickers, detailed battle plans, and a frankly suspicious amount of glitter. Akari adjusted her hair, her eyes glowing with ambition. This time, she muttered dramatically to herself, Haruto will fall for me so hard he won't be able to stand up. A nearby student overheard and chimed in. He can't stand up normally anyway. Akari chose to ignore him. Halfway through the ride, Akari launched her first offensive. She slid, rather clumsily, down the aisle until she accidentally bumped into Haruto and Yukina's seats. Oh no, she said, her voice completely flat. I seem to have tripped. Yukina just raised a perfectly sculpted eyebrow. You're standing perfectly upright. Undeterred, Akari began to slowly tip sideways like a collapsing bookshelf. Oh no, I'm falling. She landed directly on Haruto's shoulder. He immediately panicked. Akari, are you okay? Clinging to him for dear life, Akari whispered, so steady, so strong. Haruto. Yukina gently pried her off, like she was removing a stubborn sticker from a window. Sit down, she said, her voice soft but carrying an unmistakable threat. Defeated for now, Akari returned to her seat and scribbled furiously in her notebook. Plan A. Fail. Plan B. Increase drama. When they arrived at the Kisaragi Hot Springs, the inn was breathtaking. Red bridges arched over tranquil koi ponds, and paper lanterns swayed gently in the breeze. The moment they stepped inside, Akari materialized beside Haruto like a ninja. Haruto, we should take a walk together before dinner. But Yukina was faster, grabbing his other arm. We are checking in first. Akari shot back. I called him first. Yukina replied coolly. This is not a taxi. Haruto, caught in the middle, started to stammer. Can we not? No. Both girls said in perfect, terrifying unison. Haruto shut up immediately. Later, in the shared hallway leading to the separate boys' and girls' baths, Akari cornered Yukina, flipping open her glittery notebook. With the romantic atmosphere of the hot springs, she declared, Haruto will be vulnerable. Soft. Perfectly ready for my confession. Yukina, adjusting her towel with zero emotion, stated the obvious. You are confessing to someone else's boyfriend. Akari's red eyes blazed. Not yet, he isn't. He will be, Yukina replied calmly, even after you fail. Akari gasped, utterly scandalized. Watch me. Yukina just shrugged. Good luck. As Akari stomped away, Yukina let out a small sigh. This was going to be a long night. After dinner, Haruto and Yukina found a moment of peace, walking by the koi pond. It's so peaceful, Yukina said, a rare smile gracing her lips. Yeah, Haruto agreed, smiling back. It's really nice being here with you, Haruto. Like a missile homing in on its target, Akari flew toward them. Come with me. Before Haruto could even blink, she grabbed his wrist and started dragging him away with surprising strength. Yukina simply followed at a quiet distance, a flicker of curiosity in her purple eyes. Akari finally stopped at a picturesque bridge overlooking the moonlit pond. The scene was perfect, lanterns glowing, flowers swaying. She dramatically tossed her black hair. Haruto, she began softly. I brought you here because I have something important to tell you. Haruto gulped. You? Yeah? She took a deep theatrical breath. Haruto Akiyama. Suddenly a huge koi fish leaped out of the water behind her with a loud splash. Akari shrieked, slipped on the wet wood, and instinctively grabbed Haruto for balance. In a chaotic tangle of limbs, both of them tumbled straight into the pond. Yukina blinked twice, then crouched down politely by the water's edge. Are you two okay? Haruto surfaced, sputtering. Fatakari why? Akari just spat out a mouthful of pond water, her perfect confession completely ruined. She glared daggers at the offending fish. You ruin everything. The koi seemed to stare back smugly before swimming away. Akari let out a scream of pure frustration into the night. Later, after they had dried off, Akari made another attempt. She found Haruto by the vending machines, with Yukina quietly sipping tea beside him. Trying to regain some dignity, Akari said, Haruto, about earlier. I was trying to say. Just then, the motion sensor lights flickered and died, plunging the hallway into pitch blackness. Akari shrieked and accidentally grabbed Haruto's shirt, pulling him forward. He panicked and yanked backward. With a sigh, Yukina simply flipped the manual light switch. The lights came back on to reveal a bizarre scene. Akari was clinging to Haruto's sleeve, while Haruto was clinging desperately to Yukina like she was his last hope. Akari's eye twitched. This is not how the plan was supposed to go, she whispered. Yukina just patted Haruto's shoulder. There. It was just a light. I thought IT was a ghost, Haruto wailed dramatically. Akari buried her face in her hands. Two days after the hot springs trip, Akari walked through the school gates radiating a dramatic misery. A dark fog of annoyance seemed to follow her every step. Students whispered as she passed. She looks scary today. Doesn't she look scary every day? She hear you. Akari marched toward class 2B, muttering angrily to herself. Stupid koi, stupid lights. Stupid romance, stupid Haruto. She reached her classroom and, as always, slammed the door open, but this time something was different. Someone caught the door just before it crashed into the wall. A tall boy stood there, gripping the edge of the door with one hand, saving the wall from certain destruction. He had slightly messy dark silver hair and sharp gold eyes that glimmered like a fox who knew too many secrets. He smiled. Careful there. The door didn't offend you. I think. Akari blinked, caught off guard. Who are you? The boy bowed politely. Kirogain Riku. I'm a new transfer student. The entire class started whispering excitedly. Whoa, he's so cool. Look at those eyes. I ship him with. Everybody. Riku's gaze finally landed on Akari, his golden eyes brightening with interest. You're even prettier in person. Akari froze, completely speechless. What? Riku stepped closer, totally unbothered by her intimidating aura. I heard rumors about you, he said with a gentle smile. The fierce girl with red eyes who fights for love? The one with the dramatic energy of a main character? Akari stuttered, flustered. Main character? I mean, obviously, but wait, what? He reached out and tucked a stray strand of her black hair behind her ear. You're fascinating. The class collectively held its breath, screaming internally. Akari's face instantly turned bright red. What are you doing? Riku stepped back, holding up his hands in a playful surrender. Apologies. I get excited when I meet someone interesting. Akari clenched her fists. trying to regain her composure. I'm not interesting. I am, but this is too fast. From her desk, Yukina watched the scene unfold while calmly sipping her tea. Haruto, sitting nearby and eating a snack, watched too. He whispered to Yukina, Is she getting hit on? Yukina nodded. Yes, and she seems unprepared. Haruto leaned closer. Should we help her? Yukina took another sip. No, this is fun. At lunchtime, Akari sat alone behind the school, aggressively stabbing at her food with her chopsticks. Suddenly, Riku appeared beside her, sitting down as if he had always belonged there. Mind if I join you? He asked. Yes, she lied. He sat down anyway. Akari glared at him. Why are you here? Riku looked up at the sky for a moment, as if gathering his thoughts. Because I think I like you. Akari choked on her food. You what? He smiled, completely unfazed by her reaction. You're passionate, stubborn, and honest. Those kinds of people are rare. Akari could feel her cheeks burning. No, you're only saying that because you don't know me. That's why, he replied, leaning on his hand and looking at her intently. I want to get to know you. Akari dropped her chopsticks in shock. Why? Why aren't you scared of me? Everyone is scared of me. Riku just chuckled softly. Why would I fear someone beautiful? Akari's brain officially short-circuited. Meanwhile, hiding very poorly behind some nearby bushes, Haruto whispered, Yukina, we're spying, aren't we? Yes, she confirmed. Is this wrong? Haruto asked. Probably. So why are we still doing it? Because it is interesting. They watched as Riku gently plucked a fallen leaf from Akari's hair. Akari yelped. Stop touching me. Riku just laughed warmly. You're cute when you're angry. Haruto whispered in disbelief. Yukina, is Akari getting a boyfriend? Yukina nodded. Potentially, Haruto gasped. Then maybe she'll stop trying to steal me. Yukina sipped her tea again. Doubtful. For the first time in her life, Akari wasn't the one pursuing someone. After school, Riku was waiting for her by the gate. Walk home with me? Akari crossed her arms defiantly. No. He just smiled. Great, let's go. Are you deaf? I said nitrogen monoxide. Riku looked straight into her crimson eyes. I'll keep asking until you say yes. Akari turned scarlet. No fair. He leaned a little closer. I'll wait. Akari clutched her bag, completely flustered. Fine, one time, Riku nodded. Good, tomorrow too. Akari groaned loudly enough to scare a flock of birds away. By the time they reached the train station, Akari was exhausted from blushing so much. Riku waved goodbye. See you tomorrow, Akari. Don't say my name like that. She shot back. He smirked. Like what? Like I like you. Akari stomped her foot in frustration. Stop being romantic at me. He just laughed and walked away. Akari collapsed onto a bench, defeated. I'm doomed. A soft voice came from behind her. It was Yukina. You like him, she stated plainly. Akari jerked upright. No, he shut up. Yukina smiled gently. You deserve someone who looks at you the way Haruto looks at me. Akari froze. Her red eyes softened for a moment. Do you think so? Yes, Yukina nodded. Akari clenched her fists, flustered but with a new determination in her eyes. Fine. Maybe I will let him pursue me. Then, she stood up dramatically. But, I will make him suffer first. Yukina sighed. Of course. Thanks for watching our story today. What do you think will happen next? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more. The day started peacefully. Birds were chirping. Cherry blossoms fluttered gently in the breeze. And then Akari's voice shattered the classroom's tranquility. What do you mean double date? I never agreed to this. Riku stood calmly beside her desk, a soft, infuriating smile playing on his lips. You said, and I quote, fine, it's not like I care. Akari jabbed a finger at him. That was sarcasm. Riku nodded. completely unbothered. I know, but I chose to ignore it. Akari looked like she was about to short-circuit. Just then, Yukina, with her usual serene grace, approached them. Haruto and I thought it would be nice if the four of us went out together. Haruto, standing beside her, nodded eagerly. Yeah, it'll be fun as long as I don't fall off something. Riku placed a gentle hand on Akari's shoulder. Will you join us? Akari opened her mouth to unleash another tirade, but one look into his warm golden eyes turned her into a stuttering mess. Feel fine, Riku's smile widened. Haruto cheered. Yukina gave a small, approving nod, and Akari? Akari already regretted everything. Their first stop was a small cafe downtown. Yukina and Haruto sat on one side of the booth, looking like a perfect couple. Riku and Akari sat on the other, with Akari maintaining the rigid posture of a cat trapped in a bathtub. When the waiter came, Yukina ordered a green tea, Haruto a hot chocolate, and Riku a black coffee. All eyes turned to Akari. I want whatever she's not having, she declared, pointing at Yukina. Everyone just stared. Akari groaned, defeated. Fine, I'll take a milk tea. Haruto leaned toward Yukina. Akari seems tense. Yukina took a calm sip of her tea. She's trying not to like him. From across the table, Riku chimed in, trying and failing. Akari's hand shot out, grabbing his face and pushing it away. Shut up! The entire cafe turned to look. This was clearly the danger table. Next, they passed a pet shop. Haruto's face lit up. Koi fish, Yukina smiled softly. They're cute. But Akari froze, her eye twitching. Riku noticed immediately. You okay? Akari whispered, her voice laced with trauma. No ponds, no fish. No flashbacks. Riku's expression softened into a gentle smile. Don't worry. I'll protect you from the koi. Akari's face flushed a violent shade of red. I do not need protection from a fish. Meanwhile, Haruto was poking the glass, getting into a staring contest with a particularly grumpy-looking koi as Akari backed away slowly. The arcade was Yukina's idea. She wanted another shot at the claw machine. While she stepped up, the boys watched from behind. On her very first try, she expertly plucked a plushie. Haruto was amazed. Amazing, Akari scoffed. Mph. I can do that too. She tried. She tried again. She failed harder. On her third attempt, the machine simply ate her 500 yen coin. Enraged, Akari grabbed the sides of the machine. Listen here, you little. Riku gently took her arm. Akari, stop. You're very cute when you're angry, but the police might disagree. Akari completely melted into a flustered mess. Well, you stop saying things. Haruto leaned over to Yukina. They're weird. Yukina nodded. They suit each other. For dinner, they found a local ramen shop. It wasn't long before Haruto slurped his noodles too fast and started choking, prompting a sigh from Yukina as she patted his back. Across the table, Riku offered Akari his extra egg. Why? She asked suspiciously. You like eggs, he said simply. I do not. She started, but grabbed it anyway. Riku just smiled, and she reddened again. Haruto whispered to Yukina. They look like a couple already. Yukina smiled faintly. Not yet, but soon. Akari heard that. No, absolutely not. Never. Riku just sipped his broth and whispered, soon. She kicked him hard under the table. He didn't even flinch. His legs were apparently made of steel. As evening fell, they walked through a park lit by glowing lanterns. Haruto gently took Yukina's hand. Inspired, Riku offered his hand to Akari. She slapped it away. He offered it again. She slapped it away again, but slower this time. He offered it a third time. She hesitated for a long moment, and then placed her hand in his. Haruto gasped. Yukina smiled. Akari whispered so softly only Riku could hear, Don't make a big deal out of it. He squeezed her hand gently. I won't. he whispered back. But I'm happy. Akari turned red enough to power a small city. On the walk home, Haruto inevitably tripped, but Riku caught him before he could fall. At the station, the two couples prepared to part ways. Riku leaned in slightly towards Akari. Akari, can I see you again tomorrow? She looked away, trying to hide her face. If you want. I do, he said, his voice soft and certain. Akari's heart felt like it was going to explode. After he left, she turned to Yukina, completely bewildered. What is this feeling? Yukina smiled knowingly. It's called being in love. Akari shrieked into her hands. No, Uhuro just laughed as Yukina patted her friend's back. From a distance, Riku watched them, a soft victorious smile on his face. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you next time. Spring had arrived in a flurry of pink petals, blanketing the school courtyard in a soft dreamlike carpet. But not everything was soft and dreamy. Akari, a tiny hurricane with fiery red eyes and black hair, stormed across the campus. Her fists were clenched, and she looked ready to take on the world. From the shade of a nearby tree, Yukina, with her elegant white hair and calm purple eyes, watched with amusement. Haruto, his blonde hair catching the light, peeked over her shoulder. Is she going to attack someone again? He whispered, a little nervous. Yukina took a slow sip of her tea. Not today, Haruto. I think she's about to be attacked by love. And right on cue, the source of Akari's turmoil came into view. Riku was waiting at the base of the big cherry blossom tree, his silver hair shining and his golden eyes calm and steady. The moment Akari saw him, she froze mid-stride, her entire furious momentum screeching to a halt. Why are you here? She yelled, the sound echoing through the quiet courtyard. Riku didn't even flinch. I told you yesterday, he said gently, his voice a stark contrast to her shout. I wanted to see you. Akari crossed her arms, a classic defense mechanism trying to hide the wild fluttering in her chest. I didn't ask you to come here. He took a step closer, and she instinctively took a step back. And I know you don't want to like me, he said softly, his voice laced with an honesty that was disarming. But I can't hide how I feel anymore. Akari's fists, which had been clenched so tightly, loosened just a little. What are you talking about? She stammered, her tough facade beginning to crack. Riku took a deep breath, gathering his courage. Akari, I like you. A lot. The words hung in the air, heavy and sincere. I like you for your stubbornness, your fiery temper, your dramatic flair. Everything about you. Akari's red eyes widened in disbelief. This wasn't what she was used to. People usually ran from her temper, they didn't praise it. Why, you like N.E.? The question came out as a squeak. He nodded, a small confident smile playing on his lips. I don't want to rush you. I just want you to know how I feel. I want to be with you. Akari's brain completely short-circuited. It was like all her internal processors just shut down. In the background, Yukina leaned over to Haruto. Looks like someone finally managed to catch the red-eyed hurricane. Haruto whispered back, a grin spreading on his face. Red-eyed hurricane. That's surprisingly accurate. Meanwhile, Akari was still frozen, her heart pounding a frantic drum solo against her ribs. Her mouth opened, then closed, then opened again, but no sound came out. She was trapped in a whirlwind of her own emotions. Riku saw her struggle and smiled warmly. You don't have to say anything right now, just consider it? Her mind was screaming. Option 1, shove him away and run. Option 2, punch him for being so confusing. Option 3, grab the nearest textbook and throw it at his head. Option 4, hug him. Right now. Immediately. She had no idea which to pick, so her body made the decision for her. With a small cry, she launched herself at him in a move that was half tackle, half hug. Riku, surprisingly strong, caught her easily, wrapping his arms around her to steady them both. You okay? He asked, his voice full of concern. I think so, she mumbled, her face buried in the safety of his chest. Her voice was muffled. But you're weird and scary. And he laughed, a soft, warm sound that rumbled through his chest. You're amazing, he whispered into her hair. Akari instantly stiffened and glared up at him, her face a brilliant shade of red. Don't say that so easily. He just smiled down at her, his golden eyes full of affection. You deserve to hear it. Back under the tree, Haruto whispered to Yukina. So, she's actually happy? Yukina took another sip of her tea, a knowing smile on her face. Yes, and now she has someone who will chase her for a change. Haruto looked horrified for a split second. Wait, does that mean I have competition? Yukina's faint smile widened. Yes, but not for me. Haruto let out a huge sigh of relief. Good. Back at the center of the drama, Akari finally pulled back just enough to glare at Riku, though it lacked any real heat. You're lucky this is a confession, or else I'd... Riku cut her off, teasing. Or else you'd what? She huffed, flustered. Or else you hit me. He finished for her, a playful glint in his eyes. Her cheeks flamed even brighter. Maybe. He reached out and gently took her hand, his fingers lacing with hers. Then I'll accept it. But I promise I won't let go. At that moment, Akari felt her heart practically explode. This is really annoying, she said, trying to sound tough. But I like it. Riku's smile was radiant. I know. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the courtyard, cherry blossom petals swirled around them like pink snow. For the first time in a long time, Akari didn't feel the restless urge to chase after something. Because for once, someone was chasing her, and she kind of sort of really liked it. Thanks so much for watching our story today. If you enjoyed this little romance, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. We'll see you in the next video. It all started so innocently. Yukina, sipping her tea, casually suggested, Haruto and I thought it might be fun if the four of us went to the amusement park together. She meant herself, Haruto, Akari, and Riku. Haruto's face instantly lit up with excitement. Riku's expression was as calm as ever, his golden eyes just gleaming with a hint of amusement. But Akari, her fiery red eyes immediately blazed. Fun? Fun? You think this is fun? Riku just gave her a gentle, disarming smile. I thought you'd enjoy it. Akari muttered under her breath, a low, dangerous promise. I will destroy this date. Yukina took another sip of her tea, unfazed. I think we'll survive. Maybe. First stop, the roller coaster. Total chaos, of course. Haruto and Yukina sat together, and Akari and Riku paired up behind them. Haruto immediately yelped, Hold my hand, Yukina. She just replied coolly, Careful you don't scream too loud. In the back, Akari was already issuing threats. Riku, if you let go of my hand, I swear. He just calmly tightened his grip, a small smile on his face. As the coaster rocketed upward, Akari let out a blood-curdling scream, but it wasn't from fear. It was pure, unadulterated rage. You call this a date? I hate heights and I hate this. Riku just chuckled softly beside her. You're still beautiful. This only made her angrier. She nearly kicked him. I will crush you after this. Meanwhile, in the front seat, Haruto was flailing like a fish out of water while Yukina just laughed, perfectly composed. Next, it was time for an ice cream catastrophe. Haruto played it safe. I'll take chocolate. Yukina went with a classic strawberry. Riku chose mint chocolate chip. But Akari? She scanned the menu and declared, I want the one that's the most dramatic flavor. She pointed at a giant swirl sundae, a mountain of ice cream topped with whipped cream, chocolate drizzle, and a cherry. The waitress handed over the magnificent creation. Akari's eyes sparkled with triumph. And then she tripped. Splat. The entire sundae went flying, landing directly on Haruto's head. He let out a piercing scream. Yukina sighed, looking completely done. Riku had to turn away, trying his best not to laugh out loud. Akari froze, sundae-less and horrified. It was an accident. Haruto, wiping a glob of chocolate from his blonde hair, shot back. You did that on purpose. I did not. She yelled. Riku stepped in, ever the peacekeeper. It's fine, he said calmly, handing Akari a napkin. Akari muttered to herself. I hate this date. Yukina raised a single eyebrow. Me too. Our little group then ended up at a shooting gallery for a showdown. The rules were simple. The winner gets a giant plushie and the loser has to carry it all day. Haruto tried his best, but his aim was shaky. Yukina, on the other hand, hit every single target with chilling precision. Riku, with a casual smile, also won easily. And Akari? She missed. Every single target. How? She shrieked in disbelief. I am amazing. You're amazing at yelling, not shooting, Riku teased gently. In a fit of dramatic frustration, Akari threw her water gun. The stream hit Haruto squarely in the face. Again, defeated, she finally said, I hate you guys. Haruto, wiping water off his hair for the second time, mumbled, Same. Yukina, who had somehow acquired more tea, took a delicate sip. This is going better than expected, Riku just chuckled. She's fun, isn't she? Haruto groaned. You have no idea. As the sun began to set, they reached the final battleground. The Ferris wheel. Akari declared, I will win this date. Yukina deadpanned. You realize it's not a competition, right? The Ferris wheel began its slow ascent. Inside one carriage, Haruto was practically clinging to Yukina for dear life. In the other, Riku gently held Akari's hand while she and Yukina glared at each other like two dragons about to fight over a hoard of gold. At the very top, Akari leaned toward Riku, demanding, Don't look at her, look at Emi. Riku's smile was warm and genuine. You're the only one I'm looking at. For a split second, Akari melted, before snapping back and shooting another glare at Yukina. You think you're better than me? Yukina calmly sipped her phantom tea. I don't think. I know. Haruto groaned from his corner. Why am I stuck between two tyrants? Riku just laughed. You love it. Haruto's eyes nearly popped out of his head. No, I don't. As the Ferris wheel descended, it was clear everyone was exhausted. The girls were drained from all the drama, and the boys were drained from the girls. They left the park with chocolate-smeared hair, a few minor bruises from accidental elbowing, one giant plushie that Riku had won, and a whole lot of unresolved tension. Yukina whispered to Haruto. This was a successful disaster. Haruto just whimpered. Can we never do this again? A few paces ahead, Akari was still muttering to herself. I hate her. Riku leaned in and whispered back. I like her too. Akari glared at him. You're impossible. He just smiled. And you love it. Thanks for watching our chaotic little story. If you enjoyed the drama, make sure to like and subscribe for more. See you next time. It was a bright Saturday morning at Sakura High, but not everyone was thrilled. A mandatory cultural festival prep day had been announced, and the twist, teams were assigned randomly. Akari, with her fiery red eyes and equally fiery temper, stormed into the classroom. She glared at her assigned partners, her gaze landing on one person in particular. Yukina, seriously? Why do I have to be with you? Yukina, the picture of calm with her pristine white hair, simply sipped her tea. I think it's because the teacher believes opposites attract. Akari's eyes narrowed. Opposites? I am not your opposite. I am better than you in every way. Peeking from behind the door, the blonde-haired Haruto flinched. Oh no. This is going to be bad. Nearby, Riku just smiled knowingly. She survived, eventually. Their first task was to decorate the classroom for a spring-themed festival. Akari, ever the whirlwind of energy, immediately grabbed a stack of paper lanterns. I'll make these amazing. Across the room, Yukina calmly laid out a tray of calligraphy brushes. And I'll write the banners neatly. It took exactly 3 minutes for disaster to strike. Akari, trying to hang a lantern high on the ceiling, lost her grip. The lantern swung like a pendulum and crashed right into Yukina's carefully arranged, freshly inked banners. Yukina, her purple eyes blinking slowly, just stared at the mess. Why does this always happen with you? Because I'm spectacular, Akari shot back, her chin held high. You're just boring. Yukina raised a perfectly sculpted eyebrow. Spectacular is one way to describe chaos. Outside the classroom, Haruto whispered to Riku, I'd rather be anywhere else right now. Riku just chuckled, finding the whole thing far too entertaining. Next up was the food stall. Their class was assigned ramen. Akari's eyes lit up with a mischievous glint. We sell the spiciest ramen ever. A challenge. Only the strong survive. Yukina countered immediately, her voice as smooth as ever. No, patrons won't come if it's unbearable. A mild miso ramen is a much better, safer choice. Boring. Safe. Boring. Safe. Riku finally stepped in, breaking the loop. Why not just make 2 versions? Akari and Yukina froze, turning to look at him as if he'd just spoken a foreign language. 2 versions? They said in unison. Yes. Riku continued calmly. Spicy for excitement, mild for comfort. You both get what you want. Akari scowled. Fine. But my spicy ramen is still going to be way better than your boring ramen. Yukina just adjusted her glasses. And my mild ramen is still better than your chaotic cooking. Haruto, slumped in a nearby chair, sighed. This was going to take forever. While they were prepping the ingredients, a massive tray of ramen bowls started to tip over. In a flash, both Akari and Yukina lunged to save them. They collided, arms tangled, their faces suddenly inches apart. Watch it, Akari snapped. You too, Yukina replied, just as quickly. Then, they froze. For a brief second, Akari's intense red eyes softened. You're not totally useless. A faint smile touched Yukina's lips. And you're not completely unbearable. Akari blinked, pulling back as if she'd been burned. I didn't mean that. I know, Yukina said with a shrug. From the doorway, Riku grinned. I think this is progress. Haruto, however, looked terrified. Or the beginning of another disaster. By the time the festival finally began, the results were surprising. The classroom decorations were a perfect blend of Akari's chaotic energy and Yukina's elegant precision. The spicy ramen sold out in 5 minutes flat. And the mild ramen was a huge hit with families and pickier eaters. Akari and Yukina stood side by side at their stall, glaring at each other, but with noticeably less aggression. Akari muttered under her breath, We make a weirdly effective team. Yukina took a calm sip of her tea. Agreed. Riku leaned against the doorframe, his golden eyes glinting in the festival lights. See? She's starting to like teamwork. Haruto groaned. Please, just tell me the next group assignment isn't with her. As if on cue, Akari's head snapped towards him, her glare sharp enough to melt steel. You're next, blonde boy. Riku just laughed softly. And I'll be there too, Haruto whimpered. I regret everything. What do you think will happen next with this chaotic group? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from Sakura High. Thanks for watching. As the final weeks of spring painted Sakura High in vibrant colors, the school was buzzing with activity. For Akari, the last month had been a whirlwind of beautiful chaos. She'd been fiercely competing with Yukina in festival preparations, surviving heart-stopping roller coasters, and enduring hilarious ice cream disasters. There were epic arcade battles she'd mostly lost to Riku, who teased her relentlessly every step of the way, and yet, Amidst all the noise and her own stubborn denials, something strange had begun to stir deep inside her red-eyed, fiery heart. One afternoon, Akari found herself walking home with Riku after school, just like they always did. He was unusually calm, a gentle smile playing on his lips as he chatted about some nonsense she was only pretending to ignore. She watched the sunlight catch in his golden hair and thought, "Why do I even follow him around like this?" The words escaped as a soft mutter under her breath. Riku, of course, caught it. "Hey Chen, did you just say something?" he asked, his head tilting slightly. Akari froze, her face instantly flushing. Nothing," she stammered, her voice a little too loud. Riku just smiled that knowing smile of his. "You know, it's okay to admit things, Akari." She stomped her foot in frustration, completely flustered. I am not admitting anything," she yelled. But it was no use. Her heart was pounding, faster and more furiously than ever before. In that single breathtaking moment, she realized it. She cared when he smiled. She secretly loved it when he protected her, even if she always screamed at him afterward. She wanted to spend every single chaotic, wonderful moment with him. A warmth spread through Akari's chest, a feeling she couldn't ignore any longer. I think I like him. More than I thought. The very next day, a decision was made. Riku was waiting under the big cherry blossom tree in the school courtyard, just as he said he would be. As Akari approached, her hands were clenched into tight fists at her sides. Her red eyes were blazing, but for the first time, it wasn't with anger. It was with a nervous, burning resolve. Riku tilted his head, his golden eyes soft and warm as he watched her come closer. "You're here," he said simply. Akari took a shaky deep breath, gathering all her courage. Riku, She started, her voice barely a whisper. He smiled softly, patiently. Yes. That was all it took. The words tumbled out of her in a rush. "I like you. I really like you. More than I want to admit." Riku's smile didn't just stay, it widened into a brilliant, happy grin. "I was hoping you'd say that." Akari blinked, utterly confused. Huh. He closed the distance between them in a single step. "I like you too, Akari. I've liked you from the very beginning. You're stubborn, fiery, completely impossible. And I love it. I love you." Akari's face flamed, but this time it was a warm, pleasant heat. A real, genuine smile bloomed on her face, unstoppable. You're impossible too," she whispered back. Riku chuckled softly. "And you love it." Akari rolled her eyes, but she couldn't hide her happiness as she took his outstretched hand. Maybe I do." And just a few feet away, Haruto peeked from behind the very same tree, a triumphant whisper on his lips. "Looks like someone finally admitted their feelings." Beside him, Yukina smiled her gentle, knowing smile. "They did. And it suits them." Haruto grinned, watching their two friends. "I'm glad they're happy." Yukina patted his shoulder, her own happiness clear in her voice. "And so are we." From that day on, their lives found a new, wonderful rhythm. Akari still yelled, stomped her feet, and overreacted dramatically to just about everything. But now she did it all while holding tightly onto Riku's hand. Riku still teased her, calmed her down, and gently challenged her stubborn nature. But now he knew she secretly loved every second of it. Haruto and Yukina continued their own sweet, calm romance, the perfect serene counterpoint to the other pair's fiery dynamic. The four of them became an inseparable group of friends, perfectly balancing chaos and serenity. One afternoon, as golden sunlight streamed through the leaves, Akari whispered to Riku as they walked hand in hand. "You know, I actually like this." "U.S." Riku squeezed her hand, his smile soft and full of promise. "I know, and I'll make sure we stay like this. Forever." Akari blushed a deep crimson. Forever, huh? "Fine. But I get to yell at you sometimes." Riku laughed, the sound bright and clear. "Deal." As cherry blossom petals fell around them like pink snow, the chaos-filled, fiery, stubborn girl with red eyes finally found her happy ending. With the boy who loved her just as fiercely as she loved him. Thanks for watching. If you love this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Years after they left Sakura High, the cherry blossoms still painted the world in soft shades of pink every spring. It was a beautiful recurring reminder of all the laughter, the chaos, and the love that had bloomed right alongside them. Akari, with her signature black hair now streaked with rebellious red highlights, still had that fiery temper. And Riku, his golden eyes as calm and warm as ever, still met her dramatic outbursts with that familiar gentle smile. This afternoon, they found themselves walking through the very same courtyard where Riku had confessed his feelings all those years ago, right under a canopy of cherry blossoms. Akari stomped her foot, a little too dramatically for someone just carrying luggage. I cannot believe you made me haul every single one of those bags up all those stairs. Riku just laughed, nudging her playfully. And yet, he said, his voice full of amusement, I noticed you didn't really put up a fight. Akari huffed, trying to look annoyed, but a small smile escaped her lips. Fine, maybe I liked it a little. He took her hand, his fingers intertwining with hers in a way that felt like coming home. Good, he said, squeezing gently. Because I plan on making you stomp around for the rest of forever. Akari rolled her eyes, but she squeezed his hand back. A silent promise. Deal. Not far from them, Haruto and Yukina were having a much calmer afternoon. They spread a blanket under a sprawling cherry tree for a picnic. In true Haruto fashion, he'd already managed to drop a sandwich directly onto the grass. With the grace and patience only she possessed, Yukina simply handed him another one, taking a serene sip of her tea. You never change, do you? She asked, a fond smile playing on her lips. Haruto, with his bright blonde hair and blue eyes, grinned sheepishly. Hey, I'd be boring if I did. Yukina's smile widened. And I like boring sometimes. Their shared laughter was a gentle sound, a perfect harmony. Their relationship was just like that, peaceful, steady, and a perfect balance to the chaos of their friends. Later that day, the four of them gathered at their old haunt, the same cafe where Akari had famously launched a scoop of ice cream at Haruto's head. The memory alone was enough to make them chuckle. Riku, ever the teaser, leaned toward Akari. So, do you still get this dramatic over food? Akari shot him a playful glare, but her red eyes were sparkling with mirth. Maybe just a little. Haruto let out a theatrical groan. Ugh, some things really never change. Yukina, poised as ever with her white hair and striking purple eyes, took a calm sip of her tea. But some things, she added softly, get better. A fresh wave of laughter filled their corner of the cafe. The conversation flowed easily, jumping from one topic to another, just as it always had. It was a beautiful mix of chaos, genuine affection, and the kind of understanding that only comes with years of shared history. Time hadn't weakened their bonds. It had woven them tighter. The rivalries, the friendships, the romances, they had all deepened, becoming the unbreakable foundation of their little family. As they left the cafe and walked into the evening air, cherry blossom petals drifted around them like pink snow. Akari leaned her head on Riku's shoulder and whispered, so only he could hear, I'm so glad it was you all along. Riku stopped walking and gently kissed her forehead, his touch soft and sure. Me too. Surrounded by the sweet scent of blossoms, the echoes of their laughter, and the promise of a future filled with love and just the right amount of chaos, the four of them knew their story was just beginning. Thanks for watching our story unfold. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what happens next. See you soon!